Kidevolve kids. Get your brains warmed up, your minds moving, and ready yourself for a Kidevolve journey. It's going to be amazing.
Hello, my name is Jeff, and today we're going to go on an adventure into our feelings, in particular the feeling of worry. Do you know what worry is? Worry is when you're super thinking about problems all the time. So maybe you're worried about what's going to happen at school tomorrow, or you might be worried about how you're dressed, or what people think of you, or if you're going to make the right decision. Or maybe you're worried about someone you know. Maybe you're just worried about yourself. Everyone's got worries. It's a normal part of being a person. The good side of worries is it's sort of like your brain's way of trying to protect you. Your brain's trying to make sure everything comes out okay, so it's working really hard to figure everything out. And that's good. That's healthy. But there's also an unhealthy side to worry. And that's when our worries get stuck. They just keep going around and around and around, even when the thing we're worried about has passed. Or sometimes even if the thing we're worried about isn't even something we need to be worried about in the first place. We just think it is because, well, we're a worrier. Has that ever happened to you? It happens to me. Sometimes I don't even go outside because I sit around worrying about all the things that might happen if I do. When the habit of worrying gets stuck, it's no longer helpful. It can make us feel bad and prevent us from doing stuff that might actually be good for us or fun. That's when we need to do something. We need to learn to get space around our worries so they can go away. And that's what this whole adventure is about. We're going to use our imaginations to first find our worries and then to get some space around them. So much space that we end up in space. Way up above the earth with imaginary spacesuits on so we can breathe properly. Are you ready to have an adventure? Okay, so I want you to start by standing in the middle of your room. It could be any room. It could be your bedroom, or a living room, or even outside if you want. Stand and close your eyes. And then I want you to imagine any worries that you might have as a little yellow ball of light inside you. Can you do that? So it's like all the worries are coming together and they're turning into this little yellow ball of light in the middle of your body. So you're just imagining that. And notice as you do, what does it feel like in your body to have this little yellow ball of worry light? Maybe it feels warm, or jittery, or tingly. And where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your face, or in your neck, or in your chest, or your belly? Just try to get in touch with this yellow ball of light, picturing it in your mind, and feeling what it might be like to have this ball of light. Okay, good. So now as you're doing this, take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale. Big exhale. Now I want you to use your imagination to picture that yellow ball of light floating out of you and into the middle of the room. So there it was inside you, and now it's floating in the middle of the room. And as it floats out, maybe the worry feeling gets a little less strong. It gets a little softer. Can you imagine that? You're imagining this yellow ball of light sort of pulsing in the middle of your room, no longer inside you, but in front of you that you can look at, and it's kind of pretty. Okay, good. So now take another couple of deep breaths here. Breathing in and breathing out. So now we're going to go on an adventure. As you stand there, I want you to open your arms super wide. And I want you to imagine as you're opening your arms that a spacesuit appears on you. And as you breathe in and out, the spacesuit gets puffier. And you breathe in and out. And again, the spacesuit gets a little puffier. So it's like you're puffing up the spacesuit every time you breathe. It's turning into this puffy space balloon suit. And as it does, you start to float up into the air. So in your imagination, you're floating off the ground, and now you're floating up to the top of the room, and you're about to bump the feeling, except guess what? This spacesuit also gives you the powers of moving through walls and ceilings, so you float right through your ceiling. So now you're above the house, and you're super safe in this floaty spacesuit, looking down, and you can see through the roof and see through walls, and you can see this yellow ball of worry light in your room still, just pulsing gently. And now you keep floating up because you're still breathing, and now you can see your entire neighborhood. Can you imagine that? So it feels really nice floating up here in your big puffy suit. It's very safe and fun. And if you like, you can imagine other people with you. Everyone's safe and no one can fall. And this big puffy suit is so soft, it protects you. And as you look down, you can still see that yellow ball of worry light in your house. But you can also see that there's other balls of light all around the neighborhood, in all the different homes. And each of these balls of light is a different feeling that different people are having. Some of the balls are yellow. That means someone else is worrying. Some of the balls are red. That means someone's mad. Some of the balls are green. That means someone's feeling peaceful. Some of the balls are blue, which might be more that they're feeling sad. And some of them are bouncing in purple, which means somebody's super excited and happy. All of these different balls of light below you. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine what it looks like? So I think we should go up even higher. So take another deep breath. And then out breath. And as you breathe in and out like that, the suit gets even more puffy. And every time you breathe in, you float up a little higher. And soon you're floating up above the whole city. And now you're floating up even higher in your super safe spacesuit. Soon you're actually in space. And you can see the whole world below you, and it's so beautiful. It's just like in the pictures. It looks like a blue ball with green and brown land, and there's some white clouds too. And you can see the different continents, and you can see the water. Can you imagine that world? And everywhere you look, you also see these little lights. Millions and millions of lights, because it's all these different people having different emotions, different feelings. Some of the lights are yellow, some are red, some are green and blue and purple, and every color in the rainbow for every kind of feeling. And the lights are blinking on and off because our feelings come and go. And they're also flowing together in beautiful rivers of light because people hang out together and then they separate and they're affected by things that happen around them, and new lights go on, new colors, new feelings, and those change. And the lights are dancing. And there's something very nice about this. As you look down at all these lights, you feel connected to all these people, some of whom you know, people from your school and your neighborhood, but also people you don't know, lots of people you don't know. But seeing them all like this, with their lights going on and off, having their different feelings, it makes you feel friendly in your heart. Because it's like you're one big family of lights. And this is what it means to be a person. It means having feelings. And the lights change color because we're always changing how we feel inside. But you know what? There's a secret here. A secret to being a person. Do you know what that secret is? To be a person means that sometimes we can be inside our feelings, inside our worries, our fears, our happiness. But other times, we can learn to get a little bit of space around them. And when we get space, our stuck feelings can get unstuck. It lets them just keep flowing and moving on. When we get space, even our worries can disappear. So I want you to take a moment and just notice what it feels like to be here in space. If you want, you can maybe lift your arms a bit. You can move them around like you're sort of a flying space octopus looking down. And it feels really good to kind of float your arms nice and slow. And if you want, you can lift one of your legs and float it around, and then maybe lift the other leg. It feels nice floating here in space. Big out breath. So now it's time for us to go home, to make our journey back. So I want you to again take another deep breath. And as you breathe out, I want you to relax. And the more you relax, I want you to imagine that you start floating down. That as you relax, you move down, down, down in your spacesuit so that the earth gets closer, and soon you're over top of your town, and then you're over top of your neighborhood, and then you're over top of your house. And as you're floating down, you see all the lights moving and flowing as people move with them. Your friends and neighbors and your families having different feelings. And you go right through the ceiling of your house, and you land on the floor of the room you're in. And as you land, your space costume disappears. But guess what? Even though it's not there, it still feels like you got a little bit of that puffy space around you. And you notice that the yellow worry light is no longer there. It's changed into another light. Maybe it's a bit green, or maybe it's a bit purple, or maybe there's still a bit of a faded yellow light. Look and see. But now you know that all these different lights are normal. And lots of people have them and they come and go. How do you feel inside? Do you feel calmer? Can you feel your feet on the ground? So here's the thing. It's normal to have worries. That's part of being a person. Even animals have worries. But sometimes, if you find that your worries are getting stuck, that they're going around and around and around, remember that you have this spacesuit. That anytime you like, you can imagine your feelings floating out of you and into the room. And you can imagine putting on your spacesuit and floating up and getting some space around them. Looking down at your feelings, but also at the feelings of other people. All people just like you, with different feelings and worries. And it makes you feel a bit nice to do this, because life is all connected. It's all surrounded by space, and you can come here anytime. Okay, that's it for now. Good job today. That was a good adventure. We went pretty far. You are officially a space master. That means you can visit space anytime. And if you know someone else with worries that gets stuck, maybe you can even help them by telling them about this spacesuit trick so they can become their own space master too. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
So, what did you think? Did it make your toes tingle, your eyes dance, your mind relax? Take a minute to stop, breathe, and check in with how you feel after listening to the story.